Hey all, Russ here, RVerTV. Welcome. Check it out. We're just getting into the big town of Parker, Arizona. End of February, just left Quartzsite. Thought we'd take a scenic way back north. Gonna go up the California side for a few miles and look for some good old wildflowers. The blooms are out. They're out early this year with all the warm weather. We had a warm winter. Had a ton of rain in December, which was good. Then it really dried up. Then we had another little blast of rain, so we don't know. We got to go find those wildflowers. I always hunt them every year. This is kind of like a little sport. It's fun. Alright, we're leaving Parker. Parker ain't a very big town. It's a full-time town in the desert though. Guess what flows right through here? Colorado River. We're going to be crossing it in just a few seconds. Which this is the Arizona-California state line coming up. Boating is massive here. It's a boater town. Over here in the California side, all kinds of RV resorts. Wow, look at the size of that truckload. My goodness. No clue what that was. All right. Coming up is a famous railroad bridge. This thing's been in movies, all kinds of stuff. It burnt a few years ago. They actually had to rebuild part of it. It caught on fire. All right, here we go. We're leaving Arizona. About middle of the river. Guess what? Welcome to California. And right here should be the sign. Yep. You're officially in California, but not for long. It's about 20 miles. We'll go back up to Parker Dam. We're going to cross over the dam. But I've always had luck finding a few flowers to this side, California side. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull off right here in this little side area. Think I see a little color. But Parker Dam Road, to me, it's one of the prettiest drives in the country. When you follow along the river, the colors, the contrast of the water against the reddish brown desert landscape, it's just gorgeous. We're in for a treat today. Look at that. I already see a few flowers in there. There's over 20 resorts, RV resorts along this stretch of road. It's incredible. I think there's 20. A couple of them might have closed down. They're old. These aren't new ones. They got age to them. But we're gonna go past a bunch of them. Here's the intersection. That's Highway 62. That'll take you all the way over to Palm Springs, California, clear across the desert through Rice, California. It's a pretty drive. I haven't done that in a few years. Maybe we'll do it again. Not this year. Maybe next. Alright, well, also what we might find along the way, burros. Some hee-haws. They like to hang along this road, so we'll see if we can find a few of those guys too. Should be fun. Alright, here's those yellow ones. What is that? Brittle bush? I think it's the name of it. Purple. We got purple flowers. You can see there's little patches of them all over. We did have pretty good rain a couple times this winter. Good soaking rains. That's what it needs. We're right at the end of February. I mean, March is just next week. So I'm going to run up through Oatman, I think, next trip. Next video. We'll take a little Oatman run. Might catch a bloom up there. Alright, let's roll. Welcome to Crossroads, old abandoned town, totally gone. The structure's over there, it's what's left of it. This was probably the central hub of the whole area. Had a big population. Look at that purple flowers. I knew it. We'll find some color here. But this was the central place when they built the Parker Dam. Thousands of people lived here. I think they had car dealers and all kinds of things here. That was the old post office. I'll walk across the street. We'll check that old structure. Come up here by the storyboards. But I see purple. Then them little patches of yellow. You know, I was thinking driving up here, there's a place on the Arizona side called Takeoff Point. Really pretty. You can get right on top of Parker Dam and oversee it. Maybe we'll find flowers there too. Then, on our way up to Havasu, we got Bill Williams Wildlife Refuge. See, that is nice and yellow. Pretty. Who says the desert ain't pretty? Still kind of dry though. It should be a little greener if we would have had just a little more rain in January. Or even this month, February. Okay, here's some of the stories about Crossroads. This place was lawless. They had murders here, gunfights. It was really a crazy town. Not only the workers from building a dam, also the California aqueduct was going in at the same time too, which is a concrete canal. Stretches clear across the desert. Alright, well, I'm gonna walk across the street, then we'll keep rolling. Busy road. You cannot take RVs across the dam. So it's kind of one way in, one way out. You got to go back through Parker. Now cars and pickups and even the van will go across. There's an old concrete slab. Those slabs line both sides of the river from way back in the 30s and 40s when they built the dam. All the old foundations, a lot of them are still here. None of these RV resorts were here then. They all came later. Alright, here's a little history on Crossroads. 5 restaurants, 3 gas stations, a morgue, mortuary, post office, that's what this structure was. Still kept going to 1973. 3,000 people lived here. And now the population is 0. Total abandoned town. There's nothing here. There's a neat tree on the other side of this building. You want a perfect place for a selfie. You can see all this stuff, the old block and brick. Still standing. Hopefully they keep it going. I always figured some days they'd come in and knock it down. Look at the archway. Those trees grew into each other. Isn't that crazy? Real thick leaves, great shade. You know, down here it'll get 120 in the shade. In the summertime it gets brutal hot. Look how them two trees just grew together. If you ever want a great selfie place, if you're along Parker Dam Road, stop here. Alright, well, there's another stop. A couple of them. One's Bullfrog, it's a day use area. Might be flowers there. Then we got Cable Car. Then on the Arizona side, Takeoff Point. So we got 3 good possible locations yet. Alright, let's rock and roll. Just resort after resort after resort. That's at Sundance. That one's pretty nice. They got green grass, nice big sites. Almost all of them you can get hookups right along the river. It's a little pricey, but hey, you're right on the Colorado. All of them have big storage units. I used to store an RV here years and years ago, over 15 years ago. All right up here to the right, here's Bullfrog. It's a day use area. We'll just make a very quick stop. Walk down, check out the water. I see a little color, a few flowers. Nice little picnic area. They do charge a fee if you're gonna stay. No camping here. The only public campground is back at Crossroads. With no hookups, you can camp right on the river. Everything else is private resorts. But there's your mighty Colorado River. Believe it or not, summertime is busier than winter here. All the boaters. Same way in Havasu. Parker, Havasu. They just explode with people all summer long, even in the heat, because it gets really, really hot. You can get extreme heat here in the summer. Well, a couple straggler flowers here and there. Nothing to write home about. I think we ought to head up to Cable Car. That's another day use area I've been to many, many times. Alright, get turned around here. For more information on my travels, make sure you check out my website, RVerTV.tv. There you sign up for free newsletter, putting one out once a month now. Also, we got downloadable puzzles, all kinds of cool things, blogs, articles, pictures, previous travel, future travel coming up. All those kind of things are in the newsletter and on the website. Plus, got a merch shop. Armchair Traveler Series, the 2025, heck yeah, merch is out, and we're coming out with a whole new line of merch for 2026. That'll be coming up in March. I'll be announcing all that when we hit the road. Gonna be hanging right around Arizona a little bit next week or two, might straggle up to Nevada, those kind of places. Do the month of March. We got Route 66 stuff coming up. April, all kinds of good things. And then the big summer travel starts. Once again, it's RVerTV.tv, and I appreciate it very much. Isn't this pretty? You can just follow right along the river. Nice blue water. We're in the middle of the desert. You don't want to get too far away from that water. Mining is huge here. These hills are just full of off-road trails. Matter of fact, right up here to the left, this is Echo Lodge coming up. There's massive sand dunes. And you can ride all over the place in here. Off to the left, there's all the sand dunes. Right there to the right, that's the entrance to Echo Lodge. I stayed there many moons ago. A couple years in a row I stayed there. Right after courtside, I'd come up, treat myself to a campsite right on the river. It was absolutely perfect and very reasonable. This is their slow time here. So they run pretty good deals on a lot of their RV sites. Alright, I gotta pull off up here. I gotta switch out camera batteries. This looks like a pretty good place. We're a little over halfway up Parker Dam Road. You got a little trail here. This is called Echo Point. hiking everywhere around here. I highly recommend camping here if you ever get a chance. Come up here. Get out of Quartzsite a little bit. Check this place out. Well, I see some color. It's probably the camera's not picking it up, but there is purple. Small, tiny little flowers all over the ground here. Quite a bit, actually. Yeah, I am definitely gonna make a run up through Oatman next video. Instead of saying next few days, you say next video. That's a YouTuber for you. Don't live by days, we live by videos. Oh goodness. It's all fun though. I don't know if you can see it. There is purple everywhere in there. Kind of green, purplish. Hey, we're finding them. Very cool. Alright, there's Echo Point. There's trails that go right up over the hill, straight over the river. And it gives you a little layout here of the geology of the land. We don't care about geology, we care about finding some flowers, wildflowers. Always have fun every spring doing this. And all the mining that went on here, rock hounding, find all kinds of rocks. Just like down in Quartzsite. Alright, well, we're gonna go past Big Bend. Let's run up to Cable Car, see what we can find up there. Now here's a perfect example of the color contrast of the Colorado River against the Red Mountains right here. Isn't that gorgeous? Even the mountaintops, they look burnt, like a black burn to them. There's all the sand. Huge sand deposits. Millions of years ago. And straight down over that little hill here, not little, big one, is Echo Lodge. That's looking back down towards Parker. Alrighty, here comes Cable Car right up here on the right. It's a day use area. Let's pull in, check her out. Oh yeah, seems like the farther up the road we're getting, there's more color. There's more of the yellow. And then all kinds of purple ground cover. You know what we haven't seen yet's any burros. Normally they're out here eating the flowers. Here's a bunch more. Might be too early for the poppies. I have to look online. That's why it's fun hunting these things. You just never know, and they don't last long. These things will die out before you know it too. Depends on how hot it gets. Well, you can actually carry down like a canoe or kayak from here. This is a protected site. Well, there's a ton of Native American history here along the river too. They were very displaced when they built the dams. A lot of farmland got destroyed. Alright, well, see what else we can get into. Look who's coming. I was turning the van around and I spotted them, so I'm parked a ways. I don't want to spook them. There's a few burros coming across. They're going to come over here and have lunch. So they're eating the wildflowers. That's why I don't find many. That's cool. There's quite a few along in the stretch of road. They get hit too, unfortunately, by cars. But they're part of the culture here. Well, they're not spooking. They're not running off. They know I'm here. They're watching me pretty close. They're eating the ground cover. They don't like those yellow ones. They're definitely eating all the green ground cover for sure. Right there out of that wash on the left, that's where they all came out of. Well, we're getting up near the end of the road. We'll cross over Parker Dam. You'll like that takeoff point. That's one of my favorite locations. This whole area is. Every year after Quartzsite, I come through here. I just enjoy it that much. It's peaceful, beautiful drive, not that long. Plenty of places to pull off, like back there at Cable Car or Bullfrog. Spend a half a day here if you want. Another big resort here on the right. Sites are pretty tight. These are older parks, older electrical. These things were built before the big rigs were as big as they are now. Well, storage there. I believe this one in here somewhere has a golf course, which the Burros love that one. It's not a big course, not much of one. Right there, you can see the green grass. They got a small little golf course there. You usually see Burros munching on their grass. Hey, why not? They're here first. See that big red cliff just past that'll be Parker Dam. Those cliffs go straight up. You always see rocks laying in the road here. You gotta be careful. You don't lose a windshield going through here. And this stretch through here across the river, they're developing that. They're flattening out the top of the hill. I bet they build houses or condos or something in there, but that's a big development going in. It's all private land. Right here along the beautiful Colorado River. Okay, this road here take you all the way back to Black Meadow. It's a massive resort right along Lake Havasu back there. Okay, we're gonna cross over Parker Dam. You cannot bring a truck and trailer, big RV, motorhome. They won't allow it across here. They allow vehicles like the van here, cars, pickup trucks, that kind of thing, motorcycles. And they do have guards here with gates, so they will stop you. All right, right to here. Huge power system. Parker Dam, it's huge. It goes down in the ground 230 or 40 feet. It's like over 20 stories. And it's all underground. That's how big it is. And this is what creates Lake Havasu right here. There's the crane for the gates. They ever open them up. Here's one of the guard checks here on the left. And let's cross over. We're heading back to Arizona. Leaving California. About the middle of the water. Or the dam, I guess. Be the state line. Pretty cool for something that's what, 80, 90 years old. Just solid concrete. It's a little parking area. I'll stop. We'll get a picture of the front of the dam. Another guard. Sometimes if you walk up to the guard shack, they have brochures they'll give you about the dam. Years ago, they used to give you tours and take tours of it. Can't do it anymore. Oh, I see a few flowers here. There's the power station to the dam. Generates a lot of power. There's actually flowers here. What a structure. Creates Lake Havasu is what, 40 miles long? It's a massive body of water. They really control the flow of the river. See, there's purple flowers. We got some yellow. I don't know if there's a poppies on the other side. Kind of hard to see through the fence. Well, we're going to go over the hill up over Takeoff Point right there. Oh yeah, welcome to Arizona. We were in California for what, 60 minutes? There is a boat launch here for Lake Havasu. Fishing docks, you can actually camp down here, dry camp. Not in an RV, you gotta do it in a tent. There's yellow colored flowers. Ooh. There's quite a few here. Let's see. I'll drive down to the bottom of the hill and turn around. That's where the boat launch is, in the dock. Then I'll come back up. We'll park up here on top. Sound like a plan? Heck yeah. See, they got picnic tables up here. This is all free to use. There's no fees, no charge. Kind of stumbled on this area several years ago. And now I try to make it here once a year at least. Always peaceful, always beautiful. If you're a photographer, this is a photographer's dream here. You can get pictures of the dam, the lake, everything here. Down here's the boat parking. I think they have a 5 or 10 day parking limit for your trailer. You can launch your boat here. We're at the extreme end of Lake Havasu. And look at that, there's more flowers. Yay. We're finding them. Not the poppies, but still colorful. And there you can see just the top of the dam. To think that goes down in the water 40 feet. Kind of incredible, huh? Off to the right along those rocks there, they got a little fishing pier you can walk out onto. Then up here is more parking for boats, trailers, all that. Alright, let's go up top. We'll park, take a little walk. That's a portable boat cleaning station. Pull your boat out, or before you launch it, they want to make sure the bottom's clean, so you're not bringing in any mussels and whatever grows on boat hulls. Here's the official marker, dedicated marker for takeoff point. There's the lake, there's the barrier so boats can't come through. And I see color, look at the yellow. We got purple and yellow right here, covering the ground. This one's different. That's the first one of those we've seen. I need to get that app that tells you flowers, but I think the camera's picking it up. You can see little patches of yellow all over. So go figure, the Arizona side has better coverage than the California side. Isn't that something? Solar powered and everything. Alright, there's more of them. Well, I bet in a few more days they'll pop even more before the soil dries out. Only if we had more rain coming in, which I don't think they're forecasting. Heck, we're into almost March now. Time you see this, it might be March. A little bit behind on editing. There's the backside of the dam. Pretty cool. You can just sit here and watch the cars go over. And I've done that before. Most people, they go down to the boat launch. They'll stop here to grab a picture or something. That's about it. It's really a cool place if you want to do a picnic. Once again, it's called Take Off Point. Right here at the dam of Lake Havasu. lake is full, isn't it? They got huge issues with water management, though. The entire Colorado Basin is. It's all over the local news here in like Nevada and Arizona. All the states are fighting over the water. Well, cool. We found flowers today. Yay. And the best ones are right here at the end. Right up here. I'm gonna stop. Let's keep trucking a little bit. We'll go up to Bill Williams Wildlife Refuge, see if we find any there on our way out of here. Heading up to Lake Havasu. One thing down here too, it goes from nice to hot. No in between. Welcome to the desert. So we're in Quartzsite. They've already had some 90-degree days already. One busy highway. We're about a little over 20 miles from Lake Havasu. Just pretty red cliffs, mountains all through here. Gorgeous. There's overlooks here that overlook the lake on the left. I usually stop on those when I travel the other direction, heading south down to Quartzsite and Parker. But right up here, we'll stop. It's a peninsula called Bill Williams Wildlife Refuge. See if we can find any flowers there. I really can't slow down. Got cars pushing me, but off to the right is the pumping station right there. That's what pumps water over to Phoenix. I think that one does. All right, make a left in here. Once again, this is called Bill Williams Wildlife Refuge. Bill Williams was a famous old Western frontiersman or explorer or something. He's named after a few places. This is free to get into. There's no charge. A lot of people come here and fish. It's a peninsula, goes out into the lake a little bit. You always see people fishing here. They got fishing docks. They do have a visitor center. I don't know if it's open. It's a tiny one right there in that building off to the right. All right, let me get parked. We'll take a quick sneak peek. visitor center was closed. Let's just check this storyboard. I see color. Mainly a lot of the yellow flowers. A lot of history. This area, when they created Lake Havasu, displaced a lot of Native Americans, farmers along the basin. That was their world for centuries. And as soon as they created the lake, it all got flooded out. There's a lot more of that history up in Lake Havasu at their museum. All about that, the stories, the lives. You always see that where they create dams and reservoirs. It changed everything, even Hoover Dam. But there's a peninsula, that's all part of the wildlife refuge. It's where people go out and fish. A little map of the lake. But we got some color. Not as bright as what I thought it'd be. Of course, it's still early. More of these flowers could pop, especially if we just got a little bit of rain. All them guys get to call this home. They're well protected here. Pretty place. There's the peninsula. I see people walking out there to go fish now. Well, what a fun morning. Traveling up Parker Dam Road, looking for the flowers. I do it every year. It's kind of just like a little adventure. You never know where you're gonna find them. Too bad we can't find a super bloom, but I really haven't even started looking yet. This is only our first video of doing it. Isn't that pretty here? Just gorgeous. Alright, I'm trucking north. I think I'll make a run in 2 or 3 days up through Oatman. Do the old Route 66 over the hill into Oatman, see if we can't find anything. Then from there we might even run up into Nevada or somewhere. Gotta keep the wheels rolling. Journey never ends. Talk soon.